Hello, good morning. We are here today to do our 25 days of Christmas ephemera giveaway tutorial. So you have the digital freebie in the description box below, the link to that, and I'll link, anything that I think that goes along with it. We don't have any tutorials for today other than what I'm going to be doing in the video itself. So there's no links to any other videos. Let's see. What else do I need to talk about? We're almost halfway there, guys. Yay. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share. Make sure, you add the video, or a video to your playlist or whatever if you want it for next year. Because I know some people, aren't doing it this year. They're waiting until next year. On the very last day, well, not after everything is released, which I'm going to try to have done by hopefully, knock on wood, sometimes at the end of next week. So there will be multiple videos releasing then. So everybody can get it before Christmas, those that are trying to finish. So there may be doubling up on some days of more than one video. Just be aware of that. So that may happen. But when we're going to do our 500 subscriber giveaway, once we release all of this, and then on top of that, once everything's released, I'm going to make a complete PDF file of all of the 25 days of Christmas ephemera for 2019. And it will be in the file section on my Facebook group, which is also linked below. So just be aware that, they will be all compiled together into one file. So if you're downloading them to your computer or whatever, you won't have to have 25 separate files, or actually, there's actually 26, because I actually have covers, front and back covers too, that are going to be part of it, as well as the 25 days. Excuse me, my voice is giving me fits already this morning, so we will try to get through this. I may have to pause a couple times, but we will get through it. So there will be a complete file of that. So without further ado, let's get going. These are our graphics for today. We've got the little girls. Of course, we've used them before, but we're using this in a whole different fashion. I absolutely love this. There's this little one. And then there's the old Father Christmas with the kids. Love that picture. So, again, this is day 12. Doesn't seem like it, does it, guys? Okay. So, let's get with it. Let me get a drink really fast. Try to clear my throat some. Okay. Drinking coffee and ice cold water, trying to clear my throat both, so. Okay. So, let's start with our bottom. Oh. I am so sorry, guys. Let me try to find the page I'm going to put it on in this one over here. I guess we'll do it on... Let's do it there, because that green sort of goes with it. So I'll pull out my blank page that we're going to put it on out of my large gathered photos. So we're going to end up doing, if you guys see, am I in here? So we're going to end up doing the bottom layout on the page. We'll start with that because it's easy. We're going to do this cute little sort of changed up paper clip with the little beads on it, just to hold it, to clip it in. I'm gonna drop it. We have this cute little envelope, and then we've got the cute little insert that goes inside, and it's just stamped on the back, and there's our 12 days. So without further ado, let's get going. Let's how do we want to start? Let's start with the bottom, and we'll work our way through. Okay, so first off, I just took my image. Of course, it was a rectangle, and I just trimmed around it. So I wasn't going to take the time on camera to do that. Because you guys all know how to use scissors. We all learned that along the way. And then I just sort of ink this up. Make sure you're getting all the little cubbies. The little holes on the side. And I am inking heavy. And again, my sinuses are crazy. So please forgive me. I will be glad when spring gets here. This Midwest winter is... it wouldn't be so bad if it would stay the same, but it just bounces around continuously. And it's 45. It was in the teens yesterday, and today it's 45. It makes no sense. It's just enough to make everybody sick. Okay, so ink that up really good. Make sure you get in the corner really good. And this part is the easy part. We're just going to grab our art glitter glue and glue it down. And you could put cheesecloth, lace, you know, additional paper, whatever you want on there. I'm choosing not to because, and I'll tell you simply why, I don't really want to take away from the cute little envelope on the side. And I think sometimes you can over decorate a page, and I don't want to do that. So okay, so there is that. So the first part's done. Wasn't that easy? See, we're gonna fly through it today, aren't we? Let me put my lid back in my glue. And next we will start with our little insert, I guess. And again, it was a square. I simply cut along the outside of the square, and then I just went up the side of the picture, across, and down the side of the picture. So I just tightened it in, sort of framed it, made it the base so you didn't notice all that outside noise. But I did leave the bottom strip on because that's where I want to attach my ribbon. And I'm going to ink up the front and the back. Inky, inky, inky. Seems like we've inked a lot to have. Okay, so let me look over here in my pile. Okay, what did I do with it? And then we had our little, where we used our stencil. Let me grab my little inky sheet out. This was the potato bag that we used. And you know, if you're interested in, you know, me doing like a series of things you can use in your house that you may not think about using, like the potato bag, onion bags, that type of thing, you know, let me know. I'm going to ink this up just a little bit more around the outside edges, sort of blend in where I stenciled around the edges. Or you can stencil and then blend in. It's sort of... Okay, so we need to do our stamp for our 12 days. And we have been using the 25 days from Stampin' Up. I just actually got this at a yard sale, I think. And I'm pretty sure I got it at a yard sale. And I've been using it because I loved the fact that each, you know, day looked different. So for 12 today, we've got our little triangles, which I think are so cute. Just because it doesn't, you know, it doesn't have that. Make sure you have it right side up, you know, so you're not stamping upside down. Oh, we put that one over there, so this one we'll put over here. And then just hold it down. Let it have some time to settle into the paper. Your ink sometimes needs some time to get down in the fibers. There we go. So I've got that. So I just cut off a strip of, again, pull it over here, of the Velcro-proof ribbon that we used yesterday. But you could use any kind of ribbon you want. So, I mean, you can change that up. I just sort of wanted to use it because the little girl's dress is almost, just the way the color changes and stuff, it gives you the appearance of being velvet. So I thought it would blend very nicely. Okay, so I just These were actually scraps that I had, but you know, if you cut off a piece about 1 inch wide, do one at, you know, 3/4 and, or 3/4 of an inch, and then, you know, cut one off at 1/4 inch. So I'm gonna just diagonal the sides here. Let me, just to make it a nice and neater. Excuse me. And then I'm just gonna take it off my corner. I'm gonna just fold it over. And you could glue this. I'm going to use my Tim Holtz Ideology tiny attacher. And just staple it on. Not a lot to that, huh? Then I have, let me straighten this up. I cut it crooked. Well, I think I just made it crooked again. Okay. So I have that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut a V out of one end just to sort of give it that like banner look. Let's just cut that little V out. I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac because this plastic back stuff just doesn't want to stay with the art glitter glue. At least I haven't found that it does for me. Now you may try it and it may work for you. It may be a temperature in your location or something. And we're just going to flip it over. I'm not going to worry about the little wording at the bottom there. I just, if this will fit under, that's great. If, nope, it won't. So we'll just cover it up because I don't want part of it showing. And then I'm just going to line it up. Put it on there and push it down. Make sure it's even on the side. And I'm going to set that to the side and let it dry while we finish the rest. So, you guys, second piece done. We are flying today. But the envelope takes a little more time than everything else. Let me move this up. We're done with that. Let me move this stuff out of the way. Well, we're not done inking, but we're done inking. We need a page to ink on. Okay. So, my little girls, I just cut down, and let me grab my piece of paper so I can tell you. I cut them down, their little square, into a 2.5 wide by 2 inch long square. 2.5 by 2 inches wide, and I'll try to remember to put that on the screen. Somewhere up here on the screen, so you can see that. Let me pull over here so you can you see me? Yeah, make sure I'm in camera. So 2.5 by 2 inches wide, and you only need to ink up the front. You don't have to worry about the back. Okay, so that's done. Okay, then let's see. Let's put this away for right now. Then for your envelope, you're going to need a square. I'm using my tea-dyed paper. It is 5 inches by 5 inches. 5 inches by 5 inches, guys. Then grab my scoreboard really fast. Sorry if you've seen the light shaking. That's okay. We have a 5 inch by 5 inch square. Let me make sure that I've got this in here. So I want to make sure you're able to see this. Okay. Okay. Now, I'm going to use, this as a scoreboard. This is a Stampin' Up! Scoreboard. If you're using any kind of scoreboard, depending on whether, you know, your one starts on the left hand or your one starts on the right hand, if you're using a cutter that has, you know, like the scoreboard, a scoring tool built into it, you may have to do it differently. Let me grab my cutter like that so I can show you too. Okay, so, and this is Stampin' Up! Too. So, if I was going to score, I have to turn this around this way. Let me put it up here. Can you see? If I was going to score on this board, because the cutter's here, me put my cutter here out of the way. What we're going to do is you're going to want to hold it in a diagonal, like a diamond shape. You want the tip, the two vertical, the top and the bottom. Make sure you can see that. The top and the bottom to line up at 3.5. At 3.5. So, like, I need to find the 3.5 on my board. So, like on here, I would put it here, and then I would line it up with my 3.5 there. Does that make sense? Which, okay, on this board I would do that normally. On a standard, scoreboard, I would line it up at 3.5. But obviously you can see if I line it up at 3.5, my paper's not over here far enough. Where on a standard board, I mean, you could see where it's at underneath. Let me move this down. You know, if it's at 3.5 here, I'm still going to have score lines on each side. So we have to do it a little differently if you're doing this. If you're doing this, you're going to line it up where you want it to be. So like our first score is going to be at 1 7/8. So you're going to want to line your points up at the 1 7/8 and then score. Does that make sense? So if you're using a standard scoreboard, a regular scoreboard that's got all your lines on it, then you're going to line it up at 3.5. If you're using something that has like a scoring tool with measurements to the left side or measurements to the right side, you're going to want to line your points up on the, like if you're going to score at 1 7, you're going to line it up to 1 7. If you're going to score it at 5, then you're going to line it up at 5. Does that make sense? Or if you're going to score it at 2, you're going to put your points on the 2. Okay? I find it's a whole lot simpler to use a standard scoreboard. So if you don't have a scoreboard and you don't have, that type of cutting tool, you're using scissors, you can use your ruler. If you're using your ruler, let me make sure you guys can see this. Okay, if you're using your ruler and say, let's do it easy. And this is a quilting ruler. You could use a standard ruler. If you're using a standard ruler and say, you need to score at 1 7/8, you're just going to line up from your tip, go over to 1 7/8, and you're going to mark it. And you're going to mark it there with a pencil, up here, down, mark it. So, come back, put it on there, and draw your line. And you can use like a ruler, and what I do if I'm doing that is I take a mechanical pencil and push the lead back up in it so it's just the point. And you can use it and score with that way too, with a ruler. And if you need more explanation on that, let me know in the comments, and I can do a complete separate video on each of those versions. But for the sake of time, I'm going to line mine up at 3.5. Make sure that you guys can see because I done moved it again. Okay, I'm going to line it up at 3.5. Okay, when I line it up at 3.5, my top and my bottom, I'm going to make sure I have both of them lined up on the line. Now I have lines drawn on my board, and I think I've showed you that before. If you put it on 3.5, you're going to want the tip, your other point needs to be touching either the left side or the right side. If you don't have sides, then line it up 3.5 to 3.5. Okay, so now we're going to score at 1 7/8. So find my 1 7/8 here. I'm trying to do this where I'm not in the way so you guys can see, which sometimes I think makes it harder. Let me see if I add a little light, if that helps. Sorry guys, I didn't have my light on. That was probably really nice, wasn't it? 1 7/8, and then I'm going to also score at 5 inches. Okay, 1 7/8 and 5 inches. I'll put that on the screen. Okay, now I'm going to rotate again, and I'm going to put my point on 3.5, line it up, and I'm going to score at 2 inches, and I'm going to score at 5 inches. And you may go, okay, I can do this easy. I'll do 2 inches and 5 inches both times. It doesn't work that way. I don't know why. It just doesn't work out. If you have like a Stampin' Up! Or a We Are Memory Keepers envelope, or not envelope, yeah, an envelope punch board, you can do this really easy. Just measure it up for a 5x5. You know, if you're using a 5x5 size card, I think, let me see. I think it'll make a final envelope of 2 inches by 3.5. I think is what it says. Hold on, let me look again. No, 2.5 by 3. I'm sorry. Okay, let me get my scoreboard out of the way. Okay, then I'm going to come in and I'm just going to cut these little triangle-y tabs on the side. So I'm going to cut those little tabs out. Those are too little for me to reuse, so they're going to go into my trash. Okay, and then I'm going to cut these out. And you're going to notice that one set of tabs is larger. One set of tabs is larger. Okay? Or one little triangle you cut out are going to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to fold, burnish my sides. Make sure you guys can see that. Sometimes it's hard to notice if you guys can see. Okay. Now, the side that had this small, you have a little bit larger side here and a little bit shorter side. The larger side is going to go to the bottom. Okay? And that's going to be your third flap. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to put a little glue on this flap, just enough to stick it. Oh, darn it, don't do that, don't do that. Ink it up first. I caught it in time. I did that for everybody who goes, I always forget to ink. Okay, so you're going to ink around your envelope. Around all the edges. And it doesn't take a lot of time. Thanks again for everybody who's been jumping on the premieres and chatting. And, you know, all you guys that are lurking in the background. Say hi. Come out and join the crowd. Everybody here is friendly. I don't think there's any unfriendly people here. If you are, then don't be here. No, everybody's welcome. Even you guys that are hiding in the back. Hello. Okay, then we're going to fold and ink up the edges. And I really do appreciate everybody who's listening when we do our premieres and watching and responding, and all the comments. You guys have been just amazing with the comments, and really appreciate it. So while I'm doing this and just meandering and talking, I'm thinking about in the new year doing a couple other series. You know, if you like the series, you know, building up and doing it step by step like that, well, I mean, we're going to continue to do step by step, because that's what we do on Done by Dorothy, step by step. But, you know, if you'd like to see another series, you know, then let us know. Okay. Okay, yes, that's our bottom. I was trying to make sure I got it back right. Remember, your small sides are going to go to the top, and I'm going to ink inside there because that's going to be the part of our envelope that's going to show. So, on the side that has the small ones at the top, that's where you're going to ink, because that is going to show. But if you'd like, you know, some other series, you know, then let us know, you know, sort of. I know I always say, let us know, and everybody's always like, well, who the hell is talking about? It's not just me. I have teenage kids that help, and a husband that helps, so, yeah. There's a whole crew of us. Okay, then I'm just going to glue along my edges. And seal my envelope up. Let me, you know what, put a little bit more glue here on the tip because I didn't go all the way. There we go. Something not folded over there. We got just where I had inked it. Okay. So there's our cutesy little envelope. Isn't that cute? I know, right? And what I would do, now I'm just throwing this out there for you. This is just me. Or what I do is I have a 3-ring binder. And I would get it out, but I don't want to have to pause on that. Anyway, I have a 3-ring binder with sheet protectors. So it's very easy to see. And I may like actually pull it out and show it to you guys in a separate video. Sort of a, you know, how to do it. And then what I do is every time I do something like this envelope, before I ink it up or whatever, I will lay it on a regular piece of paper. Like when it's, you know, it would be unfolded obviously. I would lay it on a piece of paper and then completely trace it, you know, the square, then fold this flap down, trace it, fold this flap in, trace it. So, you know, you can tell exactly where it's at. I can go and print, you know, my colored scrapbook paper on here, you know, my digital scrapbook paper. I can then print, you know, the lines that I have marked. If I've scanned it in the computer, I can print it right on there and cut it out and then just ink it up. Or I can cut the square out. Then I can, you know, instead of scanning it, I can literally I can cut it out. Let me see. I'm trying to explain this and I'm making it more complicated. I would lay, you know, my envelope down and trace it. Cut it out. Go ahead and score it. Just like it is. But, you know, it would be on like cardstock because it's more heavy duty. And then, you know, score it so it looks just like this did before we glued it. But it's with cardstock. Then I have a template I can lay down on anything, on my tea-dyed paper, my scrapbook paper, wrapping paper, wallpaper, whatever you want to use, fabric, whatever you want to use. I have that template that I can use. And then I just store it in my binder, and then I have little mailing labels that you can put on there. Or, you know, even if you want to just glue a piece of paper on there, or, you know, put a note on it, or write on the actual template itself is easier. Because then if you pull it out, you have to try to remeasure it and all that. It's just right on the thing, and like this would be, what did I say this was? 2, yeah. So on this I would write 2.5 by 3 inch envelope. Then I have that template. I can use it no matter with what I'm doing. I'll pull out my binder one day and do a video on that, like in the first of the year, and show you guys my template binder that I use. And I use that with like envelopes, inserts. Like this, I would do the envelope, then like, not this, our little insert just fits in there, so I would trace this, you know, the maximum size that it could be, and then, because like I made this about 1/4 inch short all the way around, so this could actually be, so like your insert, you could actually make it bigger. I made this because I fit the image, but then I'll have, you know, the insert in with the envelope, so if I'm working on something and I'm using, you know, digital scrapbook paper, regular scrapbook paper, or whatever, I can pull it out, trace my templates, and boom, it's done. All I have to do is cut it out and ink it. So it takes a lot of this, you know, rescoring everything and all that. I mean, you score it, but if you've got the lines drawn on there, it makes it a whole lot simpler. Or you can just, you know, lay it down and do it. So that was a lot of rambling for that. So our envelope is done. So let's see, what do we want to do? Let's use some cheesecloth. Okay, so I've got my cheesecloth, and I just, you know me, I just hacked a hunk off. I didn't measure anything. Then I'm just going to throw some glue down. And I'm going to put it towards the bottom. Glue boogers. I hate those. I'm sure everybody else does too, don't you? Okay. Okie dokie. And I'm just gonna glue it down about, I actually think I want to do it this way. A little more towards the top. There we go. And I've got that. I chomped off a piece of my doily. I know you guys are going to be like, oh, that doily is going to be gone by the... Yep, it is. I am using the doily. But I had somebody, I think it was Donna from Junk Journal Ideas. If you guys have not been in that group, go check that group out. She is amazing. Her group is amazing. Super, super friendly. Super, super nice. And you gotta love an Aussie, right, Donna? Anyway, I know she's watching. She always watches, so I'm teasing her. But, she said, oh, you just chomp that doily up. And I'm like, yeah, I made it. So it makes it a little easier. Now, if it was somebody else's or if it was an you know, I don't like chopping up my vintage stuff. I do, but I don't like it. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more glue down here. And then I'm going to layer it up with some music. And I just ripped a little piece out. So just, you know how you guys do that. It's easy to do. Just rip out enough, you know, to do a little square. You know, I want some to show above my little tag and below. So, you know, I sort of want to do it like that. And I know I want, you know, the edge to be out. So that's what I did. Okay, so I'm just going to throw that down. Hold it down a little bit because okay, so here we go, guys. Now, you know, yesterday, you guys are going to be like, are you serious? When we made the tag and we had the little corners and I said I would keep the little corners, we're using the little corners, guys. So, no waste, no waste. So, I'm going to pull my Fabri-Tac out because I'm going to actually glue on the, I'm gluing on the, okay. And then I'm just going to layer this wherever I want on this card. I'm just going to sort of do it off-centered, but where it's stuck out. And then I'm going to ink those little edges up, just darken them up a little bit more. Okay. Yes, so I did use, so you literally can use every little piece. It takes a little, you know, you have to figure out where you can fit it in at, but it does work. Okay, so I know I put that one there, so I'm going to put this one just sort of helter-skelter, throw it over here on the side. Just because I want a little bit of that deep burgundy to come through. And then again, I'm going to ink the sides where I cut it because we cut this off before we inked it. Okay. So, then you just have to decide where you want to place it. And I think I'm going to put mine right there, sort of off to the side a little bit. Sort of like that. And so, I mean, every time you do it, it's going to come out different. It's never going to look the same 2 times in a row. I mean, you can make it look the same 2 times in a row. But I sort of like, you know, the randomness of just... So, like, I just hack my cheesecloth and I hack my doily and, you know, I just rip my paper. And what it is what it is. It's probably one of the things I enjoy, having done, you know, so many different crafts and stuff in the past. Like crocheting and knitting and painting and, you know, there's so much an album making. If you've ever made an album, you know what I'm talking about. You know, especially if you didn't use like a template, you used, you know, piece by piece cutting. There's so much cutting and measuring and so much pre-planning, and with junk journaling there's just a randomness about it. And I sort of like that. I think it's more, I mean, we're dealing with vintage and classic things, stuff like that, but I think it's more old school. I don't mean old school in a negative way. I mean old school is in, like, my grandparents' day. You know, during the Depressions and things like that. The Depression and, you know, different times in history. You know, what you had, you know, nothing went to waste. You know, if you had an old bed sheet, you know, you made an apron out of it. You made the baby's diapers out of it. You made dish towels. I mean, look at the flour sack towels we use. You know, that came from flour sacks that came from flour that you had to buy. They made dresses out of it. They made quilts out of it. I mean, so there's just, I think I love the fact that repurposing, you know, that you have with junk journaling that you don't get with a lot of other crafts, you know. I mean, you can upcycle and recycle and all that, but I think it just makes a big difference. So this is what our first one looked like. I'm gonna cut that off a little even there because it's so just a little bit too hangy. It'll just get in the way and get wrapped up with stuff. So that was the first one we made. And there's the second one we made. So, you know, see a little bit of difference. A little more cheesecloth on this one. You can see a lot more of the doily than what you could over here. But you don't see the music all the way around. Over here you only see it on the edges. Except for this one little uninked edge over here that apparently I missed when I was doing the corner. I don't know what that was about. I think I missed that whole entire side, guys. So, there's our little envelope. So let's put our little insert in there. You can see it just fits in really cute. Put this one back in this one. Okay. So, we've got our this on our page, and we've got our little envelope, and I know, and I was going to just stick it down in a cubby, you know, on one of the other pages, or into, you know, make a little pocket. I ended up making this in a pocket, but I really wanted to do something more decorative, so I decided I wanted to do a paper clip of sorts, or, you know, something, so I ended up coming up with this, with the little beads on it, and I love the little beads on it. It adds just enough touch of color, I think, to, you know, make it shimmer and shine. So let's make that. So let me first of all grab this and show you guys this. These beads I got from the bead design company. They came from Hobby Lobby. $15.99 a box. I had a 50% off. If they were 50% off, yeah, 50% off on sale. So, and I mean, there's, it doesn't even say how many is in there, but there's a lot of beads. I don't know if you can see the color is better from the back, maybe. Let me open it up so you can see it. They're really pretty, and they're a pearlized color. Let me turn it so you can see it. See, they're really, really pretty. So, I had those. I didn't have a really red one, but I had the green, and I love green anyway. You guys know that. And I did have some white that have almost like a gray pearlescent from another box. And these are, I separated and put these in here, but I put them in here. But these were, again, the design company. These came from a small pearlized box that had all like pastel colors, and it was $7.99, 50% off. So I got it for $4, and you can see I've used a ton of that. This box, ladies, you may not think of this. This box is a Plano. It's one of the insert boxes that go in tackle boxes. If you are looking for bead storage, I mean, you can buy like the jewelry kits and all that stuff to put in, you know, the boxes and all that. I have a ton of that too. But these little boxes are in the, like, the fishing section. I bought mine at Walmart. You can buy them anywhere. In the fishing section, they're a lot cheaper than the bead ones are. I use that. I also bought, you also, if you look in the tool section, depending on what you want, you can find this. Like, this is a Stanley. This is a really, really old one. This has old broken jewelry in it. I don't know if you guys can see all of it or not, but it's a Stanley box. But it is, this box is 16.5 by 12 inches. It's a huge box. It takes up way too much space. It doesn't fit on my shelves. So I have to end up laying it over, you know, stand it on its side next to my shelf because it just sticks way out. These small ones fit nice. These from the bead design company that they come in, which I really like. This one come in that. The ones I put in here come in a round plastic container. So if you can get them like this, if you don't have those, because a lot of times, you know, you buy them in bulk because you get more, these work great. So I just wanted to sort of share that with you guys because I know storage is something we always worry about. Okay, so to do this, you're going to need a pair of jewelry pliers. You can buy jewelry pliers. I didn't. I went and bought, well, I didn't. I stole my husband's, actually. He gave it to me. I didn't steal it. He gave it to me. He has a little miniature toolkit from Harbor Freight Tools. And these are just needle nose pliers, long needle nose pliers. So first thing I'm going to do, and I got, these are the large gooey paper clips, which I mean, I could have just slid. And here's the thing, you know, I could save time. I could just slide this on there and held it in like that. And I could have done that, but I really, well, now that I can do it, I really like, you know, with the little beads on there. I think it just gives it that hint of like Christmas. I don't know, it's just me. So we're gonna put the beads on it. So what I did is I took the paper clip, but I knew the beads would fall off. So first thing I do is sort of bend this out, and we'll bend it back. I just reach in with my needle nose pliers and grab the very end. And I mean, this takes, you have to hold it. I take, make sure you can see that. And just, you sort of have to grab it. You can't do it, I don't do it right on the tip. I sort of grab it in a little bit because you have a little bit more bulk until I get it started. Then I come back up with the tips and just roll it like that. Now it'll be a little crooked, but you can take your pliers and just grab the inside of that and squeeze, and it takes it right back up. So that cute little corner. So while this is bent, and you have to sort of bend it out a little bit because it helps the beads, I pulled, you know, my 5 little beads out just because I wanted to rotate colors. So I'm going to put my little white one on, and sometimes you got to work with these because, oh nope, it went right back. Well, see, it doesn't, if it doesn't want to go on, just sort of try to straighten your little wire up and it'll go on. So I'm going to put a white one and a green one, and I'd put red on, but I really like the fact that these, with the shimmer of the color, just really, let me pull it over here so you can see it, how her dress shimmers, and it has the lighter green and the darker green where it has that velour velvet look to it. I just really thought these were sort of reminiscent of that, so that's why I'm using the green. And I could have used the burgundy, but I didn't. I used the green because I like green. So if you like burgundy, go for it. Okay, then I'm going to slide the little white on. So that's all I'm doing is poking them on and pushing them around the corners. And you may have to push a little bit. There you go. So see that? Simple, simple. Okay, then I'm just going to sort of fold this with my hands. And I didn't worry about, I mean, you can worry about folding it completely straight the way it was. I really didn't worry about that. It's going to be on the other page, so I mean, I just sort of shaped it back like it would have been. And then I'm going to grab this just like I did on the inside, except you sort of have to pull it apart a little bit. I'm going to grab it, start twisting it with the bigger part, then I can grab the bottom with the little part. Squeeze down on it. Maybe I didn't bend it far enough. There we go. And just turn it and pull it out. See, that one stayed right where it wasn't supposed to. And then I'm just going to push it back up. And then you can just sort of bend it and shape it the way that you want for it to fit. Sort of tighten it down a little bit. Okay. So then I have that. And that was it. That's how easy it is. So it was so simple. I mean, you guys seen what it looked like before. It looks so much cuter and so much more delicate, so much more vintage and fancy with the little pearls on it. And it didn't take a whole lot of time. And the best thing about this is you can, like, okay, you know, white goes with anything. So you can take, you know, every single color and do those. Now these big paper clips you can find all over the place. I actually found mine at my Target. They have them for, in like the dollar bins in the craft section. And I pay $1 a pack for 6 of them. So, you know, not a lot of cost there. You don't have to use this big. You can use, you know, standard or 2-inch size paper clips. I'm working on a DIY. It'll be in the first of the year because I'm so busy trying to edit and get everything out in time. But I'm working on it with using just regular gauge wire and making them so you don't even have to buy. So which cuts the cost down like astronomically. Yay! We like saving money, don't we? Okay, then I'm just going to pop this on. Let it hold. Okay. Let me pull my little bouquet that we're on. No, is this the one with the, yeah, this is the one with the red. So this goes in this one. So, just doing it right here because that burgundy sends a flow with, and I like the little shimmery in the heart, so put that in there. Let's see, what did that come out of? Well, I just popped that out. That's something in there. Oh, there it went. Probably when I had it flipped sideways. I'm going to pop my little things back in there. Okay. So, there we go. And we got it in there. I know it's getting so big. I think we're gonna have to. Then I think I'm gonna. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make all of my pages like this, and then I'm going to have all my extra tea dyed and coffee dyed pages. And so I'm gonna put like a blank page in between each one. We've got a lot of journaling space in here too, though. So what I may do is, you know, consider this a signature. As soon as I finish all these pages, which, let's see, today is the 12th, 13th, 14th, we're going to the 25th, so we're on day 12, so we have 13 days left. So, yeah, you know, I may put a couple in here, and then I'll be able to tell more by then, and I'll tell you how I'm going to resituate it, because we've got several pages. I've got if we get a day 13 in here, then we'll do tomorrow in here, which would be this back page, which would leave all these blank. So we'll move them in and out with the other ones. And you may not want them arranged like this. You may want them, you know, rearranged. But I think I'm going to actually do two signatures. Then I'll have 2 weeks worth in each signature. So when we get done, our little thing's going to be about this big. You know, so, but I mean, you can squeeze it down so it doesn't take astronomical amount of space once we do our closure. So it won't be too big. And I'm going to do the cover and closure, so it'll hold it down pretty good. Okay, so we've got that. Let me pull my other one out and put it in. We had it pulled out. And we are moving right along. I'm going to end up doing something with this in here because I don't like how it turned out. And it did fine in my other one. In the other one where I put the extra ribbon on it, but not so much in mine where I just washi it. So make sure you put some kind of support in there, guys. And, you know, live and learn. Okay, I'm just going to throw this in the middle over here. So there we go. And see, this one I've done differently. So, oh no, I've still got a couple. I have less pages in this one. Do I have less pages total, or did I just arrange it differently? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I've got 5. 20. Okay, yeah. Don't have as many pages over here. So stacked it closer. So, and yet it takes up more space. There it goes. So you put your little dangles out to the side, make it a little bit better. So there's that. So we will be working on the cover and all of that jazz, and we will get it done. We will be back tomorrow with day 13. Thanks for tuning in. I know I've been rambly, and I apologize. for being so rambly, I guess. Oh, I am what I am. But, you know, we are talking about doing some lives in the new year. So, if you're in a certain time zone, you know, put your time zone in the comments below. That'll help me sort of know what time zones I'm dealing with. By knowing what time zones I'm dealing with, I can sort of try to do lives where, you know, it can reach everybody, because I know I've got people in the US and I've got people in Australia, and I got people in Canada, I got people in the UK, there's people in the Netherlands, people in Sweden. So, you know, trying to, you know, appease the masses, I guess. So let me know, you know, your time zone, so we can sort of, you know, figure out where we're going with that. And, you know, I'm pulling from my Facebook group for that too. And what we may do is end up doing, you know, several lives at different times. So, okay, well, we are out of here today for day 12. We'll be back tomorrow for day 13. Thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day. And, you know, get ready for Christmas. Get that Christmas journal done. And we'll see you next time. Bye.